Now this is part 2 of the video. So we will continue about the major human sources activity that contributing to different greenhouse gases. As we have learned, just in the previous video, so the major greenhouse gases is CO2, carbon dioxide. But actually, besides CO2, there are still other greenhouse gases in the world that contributing to the greenhouse effect. So let's learn the next one. So as mentioned before, one of the use of fuel is called biofuel. They will cause the emission of CO2. But at the same time, someone will argue that the use of biofuel, they can absorb CO2 because they are plants. So for the biofuel, so we will discuss later. Just let you know the meaning of biofuel is called 生物燃料. We will discuss in the later part, after this set of notes. So let's move on. We'll discuss whether biofuel is good or bad to our environment. So the next one, the next source of greenhouse gases we're going to learn is called methane. So some of you may not know very well about methane. So methane is also a very important greenhouse gas, and the ability for it to absorb heat energy is even stronger than the CO2, but they just count for a smaller proportion. So let's use the picture to start with what activity contributing to the methane in the world. The first one, if you still remember, we just see in the first part of the lesson. This is our activity, commonly found in some less developed countries like Brazil, etc. So the typical animal, this is called cattle ranching. So cattle ranching only emit CO2 from the respiration of the cattle. They also emit methane. And the emission of methane is very important, that cause a lot of problems to the problem of global warming. So we'll learn in the previous slide about how they cause the emission of methane by the cattle. The next one, you can see there are so many rubbish. So this one is also a garbage treatment, but this time they are not in the incinerator. You just remember we have learned about the incinerator from Faro. This one is not incinerator. They are called landfill, 堆填. So very close to Shani, the one that close to Shani, the landfill site is somewhere in Tseung Kwan O. I think some of you may have heard about. So landfill will cause the emission of methane. Next one, they are planting some kind of crops on the land, and you can see it's covered by water. This kind of crops is called the paddy rice. 水稻. Paddy rice. So I will explain in the next slide, how the growth of paddy rice cause the emission of greenhouse gases. Last one may be a bit difficult. You're not sure what is it about. Seems like having food, but the food is on something like the soil. What is that about? This one is called composting. Maybe it's not easy to see the color. Composting. I will mark that in the next page. 堆肥. So this is the food waste. So some people will keep the food waste, and under certain procedures, the food waste will become a kind of nutrient. I think the picture is not good for me to mark the point as you can't see clearly. I mark on the next slide. So these four activity by human causing more methane in the world. So now let's fill in the blanks in your notes, page 15 to learn about the emission of methane by different activity. So let's fill in the blanks first. So let's learn one by one. The first one, is about the keeping of animals. The cattle, especially the cow. We mentioned before the cow. So this time is not about respiration. It's called the digestive process. I'm not sure you know this word or not in biology, S3 biology. Digestive process, 消化系統。So as cow have 4 stomachs, okay, 有4個胃啊 okay. So the digestive process, they will release some gas, okay. Just like you, when you eat a lot, sometimes you will like 打思噎啦，或者個啦，係啦，嗰啲氣體啦 ，okay, is called methane。咁牛咧消化過程咧係釋放咗好多嘅methane出嚟嘅 ，okay, digestive process. If you keep so many cattle for having their beef, okay, having the meat for making burger, so they will release a lot of CO2. A lot of methane. Okay, CO2 is by respiration. They release a lot of methane through the digestive process. The second one is garbage decomposition in landfills. Okay, I just marked the word landfills before. Okay, garbage, okay, means rubbish. So when we put the rubbish in the landfill site, the decomposition process 分解, so they will naturally emit some kind of gas. It's called the methane. So in some of the landfill site, okay, some government, they will collect the methane. So methane in a good way they can use to generate energy, but bad way the methane emit out will cause the problem of global warming. Okay, once you put a lot of rubbish, they will create okay the methane. 就好似垃圾咧，如果你擺得落咧，發現啲漚臭嘅味，嗰啲漚臭其中一個成分嗰啲臭味咧，其實都係 methane 嚟嘅。Okay, next one is the paddy rice, or we call the red rice growing. It's very common in China, in Thailand, in Southeast Asian countries. They like to eat the rice. So the rice, when they plant the rice, okay, they will also emit methane. Why? Because some of the crops, they are underwater, okay? Underwater, okay, we call the process like kind of dehydration, okay, not dehydration, it's kind of lack of oxygen, okay. So when they, okay, let me draw a simple diagram. So when they plant the crops, so they are red rice, so this is water. So for the part that under the water, okay, they have no oxygen, okay. So when this part is lack of oxygen, okay, so I try to mark it larger. I think it's easier for you to see. Okay, no oxygen. They will emit okay the methane. 原來缺氧嘅過程咧，佢都會釋放啲 methane 嘅。啲水浸住嗰部坑啦，或者根嗰部分咧，咁佢缺氧啦，冇水分啦 ，OK， 冇咗呢個養分啦 ，OK， 冇咗呢個 oxygen 嘅氧氣啦 ，OK， 咁佢都會釋放啲嘅 methane 嘅。Okay, last one, okay, composting, okay, 堆肥。So I think it's a bit similar, okay, similar to the landfill, okay, when you put the waste, okay, the kitchen waste, okay, for composting, the natural process, they will emit the methane, okay, because of the decomposition, okay, 分解, so they will emit the methane from those kitchen waste. So the 4 activities by humans will cause the problem of methane emission. Okay, so let's go to the last 2. Okay, we combine together. Okay, so nitric oxides and others will combine and show in one slide. Okay, so a few more seconds for you, then we go to the next slide. Okay, so now let's go to the last one. Okay, we'll show everything in one slide. So next one is called nitric oxide. Okay, nitric oxide. Okay, I forget the Chinese name. Okay, nitric oxide. Just remember the name. Okay, and the chemical formula. Okay, N2O. So nitric oxide will be produced during the electricity generation, same as CO2. Okay, so this one, same as the situation of CO2. They are produced during the energy, okay, generation in power plants and factories. The burning of fossil fuel, same. And then they have 3 specific activity that causing the emission of nitric oxides. The first one is the production of nylons. Okay, you can write down in Chinese 尼龍啊 ，OK， 尼龍繩嘅尼龍啊 ，OK， so we commonly use this kind of material, nylon. But when we produce the nylon, the process they will produce the nitric oxides. Okay, just let you know the use of nylon. When we use and we produce, they will create the nitric oxides. Okay, next one also similar to CO2, so make it easier for you. So when we burn the garbage in the incinerator, so they will emit nitric oxides, same as CO2. Okay, easy. So save your time. Actually, 2 is common. Okay, garbage burning in the incinerator. Last one. Okay, because the word nitrix is come from the word nitrogen. Okay, similar chemical composition. So when we use some nitrogen fertilizers, okay, fertilizer 肥料 okay, to increase the nutrient in the farmland. Once we use something create nitrogen, so they will emit nitric oxide, okay, because they are same, okay, same components, okay, nitrogen, okay, nitrogen fertilizer, so they will emit more nitric oxide. Okay, this is the use of fertilizer to increase the nutrient. And lastly, what's meant by others? So in the picture, we only see one of them is called CFCs. So this time, why we don't show you the full name is very long. We don't need to spell the full name. Okay, the full name is very long. Okay, so just remember the short name because we are not studying chemistry, so we don't need to know the full name of that chemicals. Okay, so CFCs and HFCs, they are produced during the production of foams, refrigerants, and solvents. Okay, mark it down first. Okay, so I will explain the term to you one by one. So for the two chemical, okay, CFCs and HFCs, just remember they are chemicals. Okay, they are produced when we make the foams. Okay, foams means 發泡膠。Okay， 發泡膠即係例如啲 OK 發泡膠嘅飯盒啦 ，OK 發泡啦，發泡膠嘅飯盒啦等等啦 ，OK 發泡啦、海綿啦等等嘅一啲發泡嘅嘢啦。Okay, refrigerants. Okay, 製冷劑。Okay, this one is similar to refrigerator. Okay, refrigerator. Okay, 雪櫃啦。Okay, and this is making something cold. Okay, 製冷劑。Okay, refrigerants. Okay, refrigerants. When we produce the refrigerants, we will create the two gas. Okay, the last one, solvents. So you may see this word in your chemistry, okay, chemistry or science lesson, okay, solvents, okay. Solvents is like, let me find the Chinese, okay, 溶劑啊 ，okay, 溶劑 okay, 用嚟係咯，溶劑係啦 ，cup, yes, the Chinese name 溶劑. So once we produce these three, so we create the two gas. Next one is called PFCs. So this one is created when we have the aluminium smelting. Okay, aluminium smelting 係一啲嘅鋁啦。OK， 我哋溶嗰啲鋁嘅時候咧，就會有呢樣嘢啦。嘅鋁 aluminium smelting or magnesium production. OK, magnesium 咧 should be 鎂。OK, if I remember correctly, the Chinese translation. OK, so this kind of material they are created. OK, yes. OK, when we produce. Okay, last one, SF6, same. Okay, so they are same. Okay, factory and industry, same. Okay, so that's why we call them others. Okay, they are minor greenhouse gases. So this is all are the greenhouse gases that causing global warming. Okay, so this is all. Okay, hope that you understand all the gases. Now we go to the next part, is to link up the relationship between the greenhouse gases and the temperature. Okay, relationship between those greenhouse gases and the temperature. So let's see the picture, the graph below. Okay, page 15. So on page 15, we have figure 13. So it shows you the global carbon dioxide emissions. So this is only one of the gases, is the carbon dioxide emissions from 19th centuries to the 2000. Okay, should be 2008. So please take out your ruler, okay, and then we will mark about different stage. How is the trend of the carbon dioxide? So your task, okay, we have learned before, okay, describe the trends. Describe the trends. So we have learned in the previous page, okay, in the notes before. Describe the trends of global carbon dioxide emission. So please use the ruler to cut. So stage 1 in 19th century, okay, in the 20th century, okay, 1900, okay, so up to 1950. So the trend, and later on the trend. Okay, so I hope that you remember, okay, what we have learned very easy. So both of them, they are increasing trend, right? So for the first one, the first part, they are increasing quite steadily, okay, slowly. And later on, they increase sharply, okay, or in a faster way, okay, higher rate. And lastly, we have learned one thing to describe the trend. Here we have some ups and down, okay. 有啲波幅嘅喎 okay, still remember this word, okay. 波幅 okay, start from letter F, okay. So increase with some fluctuations, okay, fluctuation. Okay, so we have learned this word before. So now let's just write down, okay, fill in the blanks about describe the trends of the carbon dioxide. Okay, very easy, same as what we have described about temperature. Okay, so I hope that you have no problem. Okay, no problem. So now let's write down, okay, the overall trend is increasing trend. Oh, so I marked it wrongly, sorry. Okay, fluctuation, Fluctuation. Okay, sorry, I marked it wrongly before. Okay, so change it, okay, fluctuations with some 波幅, okay, 波幅. So we found that data increased sharply in the 1990s. So approximately 2,500 telegrams to 32,500 telegrams. Okay, so increase like 10 times, okay, 10 times or more than 10 times of the CO2. So there was a higher increasing rate after 1950. So the CO2 increased in a much faster way, as we mentioned, okay, faster way. Okay, so take your time to mark down. So I guess you have no big problem because we have learned about how to describe trend for a long time ago, okay? And then we have know how to describe with adverbs, okay, some descriptions. Okay, a few more seconds, then we go to the next part. Okay, question 2, account for the overall trend in E1, okay, in the E1. Okay, so more about trends we have marked down before, so I don't use the space. So can you write down by yourself, remark yourself about describing trends? So I don't repeat, we have learned before in the first lesson. So account for, okay, still remember the word account for, one more time, it means describe and explain. So it's very commonly seen in a DSE exam, so they give you the trend, okay, they ask you to describe trend, which we have finished in question 1, and then account for, so we focus is more on explain, okay, reason for the trend, why there are more CO2, Okay, so we have described already, okay, there's increasing trend of CO2. So why? Okay, explain why we have more CO2 in the world. That means you have to refer what you have just learned about the causes, okay, or human sources of greenhouse gases. That means page 14 and 15. Oops. Okay, about the human activity that causing CO2. So remember, we focus is the reason why, accounts for, explain the reason why there are more CO2. So you tell the CO2 comes from what activity, and because it's increasing, so all the activity you need to use the adjective is more, okay, larger, okay. Oh, some problem with the Apple Pencil, right? Okay, larger, more, increase. 睇多次活動你哋學晒㗎啦，咁但係如果講話係 increasing trend 嘅話咧，記住所有嘅活動咧係越嚟越多 ，OK， 所有嘅活動都要加呢啲字嘅，全部你哋印晒喺個 note 裏邊㗎啦，記住 ，we add all the adjective to describe why the CO2 is increasing. Now let's quickly fill in the blank for all the activity we just learned. Okay, account for, okay, the overall trend. Okay, highlight. Okay, so the overall trend is increasing. So 1 mark for description. We have described already. So the focus will be explanation. So larger population growth. You can see some underlying causes. I will mark down. Okay, so let you copy first. Okay, so let you copy first and I explain to you. So when you are marking, so let's explain this part. So the first three, you found that I haven't seen before because these three we call is the underlying causes. Okay, just like you learn about history, okay, try history, okay, 一啲原因啦，基本嘅原因啦 ，okay， 內在原因啦 ，underlying factors， okay， underlying reasons。最根本嘅原因 ，OK。So the first one, why there are more CO2? Because there are more population in the world, OK. Increased population. So the people need to have more food to eat. And the world, different countries are developed. So the living standard is rising, OK. People enjoy a better living standard. So how do we know the living standard is higher? There is a rapid industrialization and urbanization. So industrialization and urbanization we have learned before in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 already. So this is the underlying factors or reason. Because of all these changes, the people, okay, start to use more vehicles, okay, more car ownership. Or they use more electrical appliances, 電器 okay, so they need to burn more fossil fuel, okay, larger combustion of fossil fuel. So as I mentioned, you must use the adjective, okay, more, larger, okay. So they need to burn more fossil fuel, cut more trees, deforestation, keep more animals for them to have food, okay, food supply. Last one, use more incinerator to burn the waste they created. So all these we call, all these three, okay, all not three, all these 6 of them is called the direct causes. I mark at the bottom. Okay, direct causes. So when you answer, please start with the underlying factors and then with the direct causes. Both give you marks in exam, direct and the underlying causes. Suppose the direct causes you have learned already, so just remember the underlying factors. Okay, below we have space. Okay, I will mark down when I come back. Okay, face to face to teach you. Okay, so we will have we call it a summary. Okay, we mark together. Okay, so lastly we stop at question, should be question F. Okay, E and then F. Okay, question F. Okay, I guess you all finished. Okay, so this part we will when I come back, okay, we will write down the summary, okay, together, okay, and also recap the idea we have learned. Okay, please highlight. So I want to finish question F for today's lesson. Okay, so this part we will skip. When I come back, I will mark together with you all. Okay, just a summary. Okay, we learned already. Okay, so last question for today. Okay, describe the relationship between the trends of global carbon dioxide emissions and the temperature. So the first one is in your notes. Okay, long time ago, should be on page 2. And the figure on the right hand side we just see, okay, is the change of the CO2. Okay, change of the CO2, which is on page 15. Okay, so the question asks you to talk about the relationship between these two. So the first one we call your memory. Okay, the temperature. Okay, the temperature increase, and the CO2 also shows an increase. So we need to tell the relationship. Okay, relationship we have at least two. Okay, positive or negative relationship. So this one should be both increase. We call it a positive relationship. Okay, so let's fill in the blanks. This one is not fill in the blanks. Okay, on the line, but it's not very long. Okay, so we stop here. So they are in a positive relationship, and you have to find out which one is the cause. Okay, which one is the cause? Which one is the result? So the right hand side should be the cause. Okay, CO2. And the result, okay, or the effect should be temperature. Okay, so when the global carbon dioxide emissions increase, the global average temperature also increase. So CO2 causing the temperature increase. They are positively related. When CO2 increase, the temperature also increase. Follow the increasing trend of CO2. Okay, so we stop here, okay, for today's lesson. Okay, few more time for you to copy down. So this is the conclusion. Okay, CO2 increase causing a temperature increase. So that's why greenhouse gases is causing global warming. More greenhouse gases, the temperature will increase more. Okay, so this is all for today. Okay, if not enough time to copy, please stop this video and copy down. Okay, this is all for today. Okay, thank you.